Time for the next thrilling instalment of the 10-car Matchbox Odyssey restoration debacle. The two that weren't back from the stripping jar last time, they're there now. The old 30s Plymouth and the Group C racer. None of the rest of this lot have moved really since the first bit. The RS200 still not really ready for paint, and all the rest of them are where they were. The Nissan Prairie, I have made a first attempt at painting that. So I've airbrushed like a transparent green over the chrome. It's not really worked out. It looks alright here, but there's a lot of defects in the finish. The Trans Am, I'm not, for whatever reason, at the point of filming this, I wasn't massively happy with how that had turned out. It's transparent yellow over the top of the gold chrome base. The Ferrari we're making a little bit of headway with, because, as I pointed out in the last one, the casting was pretty rough. See, that's the Trans Am. It looks nice, and there's definitely nothing wrong with the paint. There was something on it that I couldn't quite put my finger on. That's the interior of the Nissan Prairie. I've changed that to black. That was just a simple case of just 3 seconds with a rattle can. So the body colour I'm happy with. And the Ferrari, yeah, that is coming along. I've just used some standard silver paint rather than the silver chrome paint, so it could still have a candy paint at this point. It's definitely made an improvement, and it's covered up some of the kind of defects with the cast. There was quite a few casting defects in there, which to get them out would have needed I'd have either had to fill it, or, which I didn't really want to do. I mean, filling's what you do when there's like actual big holes and, you know, actual bits missing. This just shows you though, with the Trans Am now, ignore the wheels. I was trying something with the back one. That's not really something that ends up being part of the finished thing, so just pretend I haven't done anything with the back wheels. But this is 6 hours later from the original footage that I took, and there's something about the paint settled. I'm a lot more happy with it now, and it looks, I think we might actually be able to say this is painted, because I did want a nice deep gold. And even the Prairie, again, this is 6 hours later, it does look, it's still got a few defects on there, but it does look a little bit better. So sometimes you can't always judge, when you're using this transparent paint, you can't always judge the result based on what it looks like when it's first dried. I mean, that was, I would say, the first footage that I took was like 12 hours afterwards. The second lot of footage was another 6 hours after that, and it just looked a lot better. And a lot of the time you find as it settles, it just gets better and better, and sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it gets worse and worse as it settles, and that's when you've gone wrong. But more often than not, the opposite is true. It actually looks better as it goes on. So I thought with the RS200 lagging behind a bit, it was time to get that brought up, time to catch that up with the rest of the pack. So it's at the metal toothbrush stage at the moment. We're just going around it, and, well, metal toothbrush and like a precision screwdriver and occasionally a scalpel blade, just to get little bits of paint out of all the door shut lines and things like that. And we're doing exactly the same with the 33 Plymouth, and we're going to be doing the same with the Group C as well. I'm going to try and get all these three castings that are all lagging behind the rest of the pack. I'm going to try and get them all caught up in this video. So this video is going to be a lot of grind again for a while. But I'm showing that grind because, well, I've got to show something. Otherwise the whole thing would just be a series of still photos, really, saying this is what it looked like, this is what it looks like now, this got done. Because although I've got other videos that show all this process in detail right from start to finish, I can't expect everybody to just jump out of this one and jump into another one and keep doing that. It'd be nice if everybody did, it'd be lovely if everybody did. And all I had to do was just make videos that had little pointers to my previous videos. But really, rather than expecting people to jump about and watch 10 different videos when they only really intended to watch one, I may as well just leave some of the process in each video. So this is, this particular one is what happens when you've got some fairly tenacious, because the paint on this one was very tenacious. It took a lot of effort to get it off. I've said before I use cellulose thinners it's just what I know. Other people use different things. Some people use actual like paint strippers, some people use nitromorphs, some people use brake fluid. It's just it's whatever. I think it's just whatever you use first. You'll always just end up using that. But I use cellulose thinners. So cellulose thinners works quickly. Sometimes you'll find that it just gets all of the paint lifted almost immediately, and you literally just brush it off almost with your finger, and you've just got this bare metal casting. That wasn't too far from what happened with this this Group C one. Really, this was quite an easy one to get stripped, but it's quite a big and quite complex casting with a lot of different details and curves here and there all over it. So there are still places where little bits of paint can get caught up. So you can see there I'm going around all three of these, the RS200, the Plymouth, and this one. You can see I'm going around them all with combination of the toothbrush, well, the metal toothbrush rather, and the scalpel blade, a precision screwdriver. It's a good little trifecta of instruments to have at your disposal during the paint removal process. But you'll see here I've introduced a fourth element into the equation, and that's the wire wool. Now, I mean the wire wool, both grades of wire wool, the coarser grade and the finer grade, they're both pretty essential really to getting the bodies prepared for paint, especially if you're going to be mirror polishing. So it's not really a trifecta. It's a quintet of items that all pave the way for the sanding that comes afterwards. So, but yeah, with the Plymouth, I mean, like I said, the RS200 wasn't too bad. The Group C wasn't too bad. Most 80s Matchbox paint actually comes off quite well, but the Plymouth is so much newer. It's like 2011 or 2013, something like that, and that quite a bit of it stayed on, even though I gave it probably 3. I think I left it in the stripping jar for maybe 3 days, something like that. That was mainly because I had other things. I had all the rest of them to get on with anyway. If I'd really wanted to start work on the Plymouth, I could have started work on the Plymouth at the same time as all the others, because it had stripped off most of what it was going to strip off by then. It didn't really make that much difference leaving it in for those extra couple of days. It was more just somewhere to keep it, so it was out of the way while I got on with all the rest of them. But yeah, you can see that, especially on the corners of it and the grill, I really had to scrape away at it with the scalpel blade. But anyway, they all turned out all right, and they're all ready for paint now. So at this point, we really need to get on with some of the glass, because I don't think I've really done anything with any of the glass for any of these. So we've got the Pantera one to begin with, similar to how I did it in the last, a previous bit, but I think it was 2 videos ago that I did for the pair of Trans Ams, the Matchbox and the MC Toy one, which is continuing, by the way. This series of things hasn't superseded it. The 2 things are running concurrently. So yeah, we've got the pads all laid out in order, so they're going from 1,000 grit round to 12,000 grit. So I can just keep a little jar of water to the side, keep dipping the glass into the water like that, and then just give each sort of facet of the window unit a bit of a rub on whatever sanding pad. Now with the Group C Racer, I think this is actually the Sierra, because they're very similar. They've got the headlights attached like eyes on stalks, like crab eyes or something. But they're going to break. They're obviously going to break if you just keep holding it face down like that at an angle, so that you can rub it. So with those window units, I mean, I think this one's I don't know if that's the Plymouth or the Taxi. The Plymouth didn't end up needing doing it all. I think maybe because it's a much more recent casting than all the rest of them. I didn't really need to do anything with that. And then you can also use this process for some of the plastics. So this is that middle bit of the sandwich out of the Sierra that forms like the plastic sort of the bumpers and the rubbing strip and what have you. You can shine up those plastics. You can get rid of all the defects and bite marks and things, and get the plastic looking new and shiny using just the same method as you do for the window glass. So we're going to go outside and do a bit of paint now using this alloy wheel paint. It's just a nice silver. It's not a particularly bright silver. It's more like a real car sort of silver. So I'm doing another coat on the Ferrari base plate just to further correct because there are some of the casting defects went onto the base plate too. I'm doing the top half of the Sierra with that as well, because the Sierra was suffering from a similar, not to anything like the same extent, but it had similar sort of casting defects to the Ferrari as well. So I didn't really think it was a candidate for bare metal polishing. The other three that we've just been doing, the Plymouth and the RS200 and Group C, they're all going to get bare metal polish because they're really good castings. But the Ferrari and the Sierra, they're just like, yeah, we need some thicker paint really, just to sort of correct and infill the defects a little bit. So I thought the red taillight tint would come in handy for that, because it's a good colour for a Ferrari. You always get a nice bright red if you put this over a silver, and it's thick enough to, again, further correct and infill the defects in the casting. I mean, with the Sierra, we're going to put something else over the top of that as well. We're not just going to leave that as it is. But with the Ferrari, I thought this could be the very thing that we need just to remedy the problems it's had right from the start. So let's just hope it actually is. It's certainly looking good. So I think we'll call a halt to proceedings and say that that's the end of round 2. Let's see where we are. The Plymouth is certainly looking. The Plymouth and the Group C and the RS200 have all turned out to be really good castings. So they'll all be getting sanded and mirror polished to achieve that kind of chrome effect that I've done on several others, and they'll be getting probably transparent paint applied straight over the body without any kind of undercoat. The Prairie is, I would say that's in its final colour, but it's just whether I can save the actual paint job or not, because even though it seems to be getting better and better the more it settles, it's going to need another couple of coats, and then we'll just have to see what it looks like. So yeah, the RS200, that's just a really nice, turned out to be a really nice example. It's a very good casting, really good metal, so that'll mirror polish. Trans Am's looking nice. I can't really see, apart from there's still a bit of work to do with the wheels. I mean, you can probably see that the wheels have changed slightly from the start of the video, but there's still a bit of work to do on them. After that, not a lot really. London Taxi hasn't really moved from the last video. The Ferrari, we're waiting for the top half, because that will, with it being taillight tint, that takes a full 24 hours to dry. That's the Sierra with its alloy wheel paint. There's still some work to do. I would say there's still a little bit of work to do on the glass. I haven't done anything with the headlights yet either. There's still quite a way to go with this. There's all sorts to do with it really. So the Sterling, I can't think of a great deal else to do with it really. If I'm going to make it absolutely factory spec, obviously apart from the colour, if I'm going to make it factory spec, then I'll need to do something with the headlights, because they did come with the headlights kind of silvered in from the factory. So there's still that to do. The Group C hasn't lost a headlight, it just broke off from where it attaches, so I've got it masking taped to the roof so I don't lose it. It's safe. And next time, amongst other things, we'll find out how that Ferrari got on with its new paint. In the meantime, thanks for watching.